Did you expect the reaction like when when you reading the script and then just doing the shooting of it?
In the script, there was some other things in there
Is it?
they had to take out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was being a bit too much.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if it was done by another, there's a betting company that does these kind of adverts.
It would have been all right.
It would have been too much.
Yeah, crazy.
Wow.
There's
I think there's the right
borderline.
balance. There's the right balance. I think there's a sense
Hilarious.
of humour
Yeah. I thought it was good, man. I thought it was
there.
like
There's a sense of humour.
A sense of humour. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
I loved it.
But the Google, the Pixel phones. What's going on there? You changed. Are you pixeled up now?
Yeah, I'm Pixel all the way out. I've been Pixel for a long time, for a long time. Yeah. You know what? I first kind of used these the phones with the Rwanda trip.
Is it?
So yeah. So they started to kind of take shots and videos of the gorillas and things like that when I was with Arsenal.
Do you know what? It's nice.
Yeah,
it's nice when you see like a actual partnership that is actually a genuine one. Because if you rolled in there and pulled out an iPhone and then just slammed it on the table, I've got to be honest, I'd have shouted you out straight away.
Yeah.
Said, what's going on there? But he said, can I put my phone on the table?
Yeah.
The
put both.
Google Pixels come out. Yeah. Business
Crazy.
and family, or
they're both the same, man. They're both the same.
remember back in the day, if you had two phones, it was a problem.
I
Big
know,
issue.
I know.
What are you up to?
I thought 3 phones.
Entrepreneur, innit? Entrepreneur. Listen, man, welcome to this episode of Rare Ferdinand Presents.
Yes!
Joel Bayer is our usual kind of guy who's bang up for this one, obviously. And we've got an Arsenal legend in the house. You've been asking for these Arsenal legends to come in.
Come on, man. It's been
Am
so
I the first?
unfair. Yeah, I think so.
Arsenal and England legend.
Yeah.
Oh my
Honestly.
God. That's what it's all about.
It's so skewed on this show. You have no idea. I've been screaming for a minute, so thank you very much.
We'll get there. But this is Mr. Sol Campbell, guys. One of my best partners of football I've ever played with.
Yes.
Centre-back partners. I've got great names in there. This man's right up there, the top of the list. So
Invincible.
thanks for coming in, man.
Invincible.
Oh yeah, he's an Invincible as well. Have you bought the gold trophy, or he brings a trophy everywhere?
Is yours gold?
I'm in the process. I'm in the process of organising something like that for the lads. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the process.
What,
yeah.
like a little
The same.
get together?
No, I'm saying looking at to kind of sort out those trophies, because I think there's only 2. I think Arsenal's got one and the club's got one, but we're in the process of trying to kind of link something up to make say 30, 40 trophies for some of the lads. Yeah.
How selfish is that? The Arsenal Football Club just took it for themselves and never give the players nothing. In the NBA and that, you get a ring. Everyone gets something to celebrate.
Yeah, well, my football club does things differently anyway.
Yeah, so hopefully we're going to rectify that, and everyone who's been involved will get a trophy. So
how are you going to do that? Have you got a WhatsApp group?
We've got a WhatsApp group, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah,
Who's in there? Who's in that group?
Everyone is in there. Yeah, there's an Arsenal, there's an Invincible one. It's great.
Really?
Yeah.
Invincible WhatsApp group. It might be one of the strongest groups about. Is it called the Invincibles?
Yeah.
Is it called the Invincibles? That's unbelievable. The Invincibles, you know. Imagine being on the tube or on the train or something and see next to Sol and you can just see a WhatsApp group popping up and it's got the Invincibles at the top. That'd be mad, isn't it? As an Arsenal fan. Who set it up?
I don't know. Can't remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is mad. We've got one. We got the 2008 one, isn't it?
That's all good, isn't it?
Yeah, we got this. What are you going on that for?
No,
this guy's so Arsenal, man. It's unbelievable. But you know what it's good for? Just keeping in touch with the guys, isn't it? It's does anyone get hammered? Like Patrice ever gets hammered in our one?
Not really, no. Everyone's kind of polite. I think everyone's polite. Yeah,
but you got to remember, like our team, like Arsenal. You know what I mean? It comes from a
So the Arsenal's on there.
Is he admin? Is Arsenal admin?
No. He's just occasionally saying his stuff and things like that, you know. And then Mr. Dean's on there.
Mr. Dean in there as well. We got to get David Gill.
What does Arsenal say in there? Like when
he doesn't say anything. No team talks, but he's involved. Just mostly business, mostly kind of, you know, talking to the lads. If you can, or if someone's, can you do a shout for us or whatever, all that kind of stuff. Everyone chips in.
Oh, really?
Everyone chips in. If someone needs something, a hospital note or a video, you know, please, could you help us, lads? And boom, everyone's doing it.
Oh, so
nice.
that group, the Invincible group,
and also, and I think there's Arsenal one as well.
Who replies the least? Who replies the least? Is it Terry?
I don't know. There's some guys are busy. No, there's some guys are busy. But if it's something like a hospital kind of video thing, everyone's there.
That's what I was going to say. I've got a group with the Leeds guys who I played with Leeds, and that one is mainly like, can you do a shout out if someone's ill? Someone's not well, a Leeds fan, and there's loads of that stuff goes on.
So it's great.
Whereas the 2008 one's just pure banter. I reckon there's no other group with as much banter as that one.
Really?
No, that WhatsApp group's the one.
But that's where you dominated, isn't it? You're definitely one of the admins for that one, isn't it? You have to be, because you ain't admin for Roy Keane. If you was in a Roy Keane's group, you ain't admin for that one.
No, I'd run it.
No.
just shut up, sit down. Oh,
man, but listen, I think, look, we talked about the good times, and we're going to get back to the good times, but we have to address the elephant in the room, innit?
The Arsenal's form.
The current bad times.
Yeah. What's happening with Arsenal, man? Title race.
What are you doing? Was that from 13th go?
I think the main thing is the chances, just, going begging. I think if they had that kind of someone who was on fire, or just, guys who are knocking the ball, when they get the chance, they finish it off. That's the thing. They're creating the chances. And I think that's the kind of flaw, really. They're just not finishing them off. I think, you can say defensive. The last game against Aston Villa, just need to kind of a bit more aware of where players are. When they are in the danger area, where's my main centre forward and things like that? Where are the danger spots? Do I cut this off? That, a little bit of change in the team. That's why probably, Saliba not there maybe cause a big problem.
Both the goals come down each side, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue. Yes, I know that Saliba wasn't there, but in the last few games, we've suffered regardless. And I think it's because of the lack of finishing. Saying that, how do you rate our title chances now, Sol?
It's still there. You go on a good run. It's there. But you always have to, mathematically, as a manager would say, it's still there. Yeah, but momentum, it's with Liverpool. But you've got to keep going. You've got to make sure you get your game right. That's all you can do, really, at this moment. And hope, Liverpool, draw a couple of games and then you win a couple of games. And, then it all comes a little bit tight. Maybe the last, 6-7 games. Who knows?
But you
got to keep believing.
You got to keep believing. But look, it's like Liverpool have given us chances. If you look at prior to at one point they dropped 4 points in 2 matches. It's time to capitalize. I'm looking up top. Do you look at that and go, man, if it was some of the guys that I was playing with, they would have ate them chances up, man?
Yeah, I think they're big moments. And that's what, big teams and big players thrive on, those moments. But sometimes you get into that moment, you got to take the moment. And I don't know how many times, Liverpool are going to keep on slipping up, but, they've had that situation where you slip up and that's the time you can, as you said, capitalise and reduce the gap.
Ria, I'm talking to 2 elite centre-backs here, and that's a good point right there. 2-0 up. You're talking about keeping it tight. A lot of that comes from your key players such as yourselves. What are you saying to your team?
No, I think it's communication, 100%. Sol knows what it's like. Sol was a good talker as well in games, just keeping people awake. Concentration. I think at this top elite level, concentration is what lets people down most of the time. A decision, split-second decision that can change the distances between people, that gives someone more of an opportunity at goal, then obviously they capitalise when they're at that level. But I would say that when you don't buy a striker, when it seems glaring to everybody else outside the club, you're going to get criticised if then you're creating chances and not finishing them off in critical moments. And that's where we're at now with Arsenal. Because you look at the last couple of games that they've dropped points in. Newcastle, Isak, number 9, bangs goals. Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa, banging in goals. City ain't playing well. Haaland's banging in goals. They're effective when the team aren't firing on all cylinders. I think that's where I look at it. I think in my teams, when I played, good or bad teams, there was always a striker in there that if things weren't going well, he'd just find a way to score. They just know that that's something that they do that no one else can do on that pitch. Us, if we can't ever sniff a goal like that out, these guys know how to do it. And Arsenal haven't got that sniffer type dog player to do that at the moment. They've got really nice players.
And you guys had a few of them, because we always think about the top goal scorers. You think of your Thierry Henrys, but the wingers could pitch in. Freddie could pitch in. Like you said, Perez could score goals. You had a captain's goal that could occasionally come from Patrick. Yourself, your team. I mean, come on. If it's not Ronaldo, it's Rooney or, Giggs or Scholes can chip in. Like, we just seem to be stuck. And you said there's a lack of confidence. Is there a particular player or players that you've seen and you've gone, he was really high level last season, but this season it's not quite been the same?
I think you might say, you look at Martinelli and you say that you know he can do it. It's getting him back to that level and getting him kind of, once he's in front of goal, once he's kind of in and around the box or in and around the wings and good crosses, just being there on a regular basis. I think he's getting there. I think there is signs of he's getting that confidence back. I think he's the player I see coming back. If he can step it up, I think that will help big time Arsenal. And then hopefully Saka comes in when he does come in.
Too much
another wing.
Too much reliance on Saka in the last few years, would you say?
I think, when you're a top player, you want to play all the time, don't you? But then there's a moment that you have to say, balance it out. Some games that you can say, well, we're 2-3-0 up. Do we need to keep Saka on? Whatever, off you go. And then you blood in some new players and get them, relaxed in the game, and you're not under pressure. They can kind of show their stuff instead of taking Saka off and putting someone on when it's 0-0. No, if you just see how it goes. If it's 2-3-0 up, 20 minutes to go, put someone else on.
I woke up this morning and I thought, right, you lot have lost Saliba. Remember the last time Saliba came out of the team?
Yeah, it was a bad run a couple seasons ago, wasn't it?
The league was gone.
Yeah.
Is it that bad again?
Well, I think yes, because he's our top 3 best players. When he's not in the team, or Odegaard's not in the team, or Saka's not in the team, we suffer. But yeah, I do think missing him is really important. He's only got 2 years left on his contract as well. I just wanted to put it out there. We need to
gone early with that.
We need to sort that out really quickly.
How much do you rate him, Saliba? How much do you rate the 2 centre backs actually, Gabriel and Saliba? I
think as a pair, they are definitely formidable for sure. They are growing into a really special partnership, and also the back line as well. Timber, put Timber in there as well. They're not on the level, say, where Van Dijk is as well. But if we had sharpshooters, and I think there would be for sure, because the effort they're putting in
takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then you run less. If you're attacking more and you've got players that are keeping the ball and troubling the other line, you run less. And then when it does come to you, you've got the energy. Okay, I can handle it. But if you're being put under pressure all the time. But anyway, these 2 guys are top. I think they're definitely up there, world pairing, one of the best in the world. You rightly, we need to sign him up again because he's a top player, and I'm sure there's other teams circling around and looking at that situation. But they're 2 amazing players. But if one doesn't play, for me, the next development is when your partner's not playing, and you've got a player maybe not in that position or playing at the position, that's when the communication skills come more to the forefront. That's when you need to kind of move people around and say, get in here early, because you're anticipating the ball coming over, and you're not allowing, centre forwards to kind of be on their own in the middle of the box, things like that. That's when your communication skills come up. And I feel Gabriel and Saliba, if one of them are not playing, they need to step up. You need to do your back line, and also you need to control who's in front of you as well. Pull them. You need to be pulling people around, communication, and do your own job.
Yeah.
And that's the next development.
How do you?
Because you can't always, you get injuries. So you've got to be able to survive at Saliba for, say, 2-3 games, 4 games. And still win, and find a way. That's how you have to step it up.
That's how you win the league. For me, it's good to have you on. I'm really glad that you're here today, because there's loads of things I'm looking to discuss, and one of them is obviously defending, because you were such an elite defender. So communication to start with.
Sure.
What was that? When did you realise that the importance, and then when did you actually inject that into your game that it was effective?
I think for me, probably in and around 20, 21. I think getting into the first team, you kind of just want to get in the first team. Just play and, keep your head down and play. But as you get, 2-3 years later, 4 years later, you start to kind of develop, and then obviously become captain at Spurs. You've got to do that. You've got to add that to your game. And I was naturally like that. I kind of, naturally went into it. And then you had to, if you want to actually win games or become, tough to beat, you got to do that. You can't have everyone just doing their own job. Yeah, everyone wants to do a good job, but you need someone to kind of move people around or see opportunities or see kind of danger moments. Like, hey, let's get in position, and at least we're in a good position. And that's what communication skills, I kind of developed as time went on, and becoming captain and things like that. All those kind of things developed, and I could handle that. And I loved, I found it quite natural to do that.
Looking at the 2 of you, what was your relationship like together? Like, what was he like with you? What was you like with him, vice versa, when playing together? Come on, say it. Any arguments? Any times when you just thought, Rio, get in your flipping position?
There was always going to be stuff like that.
Vice versa.
But
do
you know, firstly, I think we actually got on off the pitch. We were into similar things. Yeah. We were both quite...
London.
London.
What things?
We used to go out.
Yeah.
I'd see Sol out and about every now and again. He was a bit older, so he was with the older guys, but I'd always see Sol from a distance, and he'd always like chat and say what's happening. Not like we were best friends, but like when you're, I don't know, you see somebody and there's a respect between you, and you always say hello to each other. Because a lot of people, like, sometimes people are too shy to do that, or ignorant, or think they're too big. But Sol was always like the older version of me type of thing, but would come and go, what's happening, you're right, and then just go and do his thing. And I used to think, I respect that, appreciate that. But we kind of, even music, remember in the World Cup in 2000, 1998.
1998.
Yeah.
You was young then.
I was young, but we were listening to music, we just like similar music.
Really?
Like, so that was like
all from London, man.
Yeah. It's true.
East London.
What was it then?
Where are you from? South
Was it garage? Must have been garage, innit?
No, it was, you know what we were listening to then? It was actually, there was a Lenny Kravitz album which has come out, number 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then I think D'Angelo and stuff like that was about them times. Yeah, Brown Sugar. Yeah.
Is it?
Stuff like that. Yeah. And like then older stuff like...
But I think that helped on the pitch. Helped. Yeah.
So you talk about communication's more fluid.
Yeah, I think, and everyone, compliments, each style and things like that. I mean, when you look back, you look at, say the Brazil game, the quarterfinals, and you say to yourself, how many shots did they have in goal?
Yeah, I know.
They still won the game, and
they just kept the ball.
They kept the ball, but they went down to 10 men for the last 20 minutes, and we still couldn't find a way. Or
who was the lead communicator out of the two of you then?
I think it just mixes, isn't it?
Yeah. So it would depend on the game. Like some days it might be Sol that's kind of controlling the line, squeezing us up. Other days it's me, and sometimes who's in the rhythm. Sometimes in games with partnerships, you've got to bring your partner through games by being the sharper one. Sometimes because not every game you go into where everything's firing on all cylinders, and sometimes you do need your partner to they kind of G you up to get you through, and that happens, and it's just part of it.
And also team-wise, you have that as a team as well. You need that as everyone on it. But it's good.
I'm trying to dig deeper here a little bit. When did you realise he was? Oh, there's young Rio, kid with potential to. Okay, cool. Yeah, he's serious here.
I think the very first time England-wise, when you started coming into England, I think that's the one. I started to see, hey, Rio's, he's up there now.
2022.
For sure. Yeah, with Glenn.
2022.
I think Glenn.
2002.
I think Glenn really.
Yeah, he's the one who pushed
massively
me
helped you, innit?
Yeah,
Glenn.
I think just to go back to our relationship, I think when people always ask me who the best partnerships that I've had, I think Vidic, because of the time I was together with him, we've had so long, right? But with England, it was easily Sol.
Really?
Yeah, easily. Because our styles just complemented each other.
Yeah.
We were both quick, both happy to run behind, and both happy to squeeze the pitch. So normally in a partnership, one of you wants to squeeze and one of you wants to drop, and there's a bit of opposites. So you kind of having to adapt your game to suit them sometimes, and them the same with you. But with me and Sol, it was he was happy to go and attack the first ball. I would sweep up. If I was going to go and attack it, he would be happy to sweep up because he's used to doing that. So, and both will take the ball.
Be honest with you, who's your best partner? You don't have to say Rio.
No, for England, for sure. For sure. Yeah, for sure.
What about club level?
Club level, when you look at it, you got Tony Adams. I think I only played with Tony 8 times. I think more with Tony for England. But I have to say Colo's been, really, really top player for me. Because he wanted to learn. He just wanted to learn that enthusiastic kind of, mentality. And I think for me, and he probably learned a hell of a lot from playing alongside me. And that's what you do with top players. If you're a midfielder or you got an understudy kind of in midfield or you're centre forward and there's a youngster coming up, that's how you learn. And I think Colo would have learned a hell of a lot from me, just being, in scenarios and situations and how to deal with the pressure and what you need to do, not rushing out too much, keep a calm head while everyone's kind of losing it kind of thing. And, just being aware of danger. Be aware of danger. The good defenders are they know where to position themselves. Good forwards know where to position themselves to score a goal. Good defenders know, I'm going to be here because I feel this is where it's at, you know.
And
you got to keep on changing all the time. But he would have learned a lot from me.
Are you taught that, or is that just it's there, it's in you?
I think naturally I'm naturally like that, looking for danger, but then also looking how to attack. I think maybe it's my East London days. Who knows? You know, yeah, man. The Stratford days, Plaistow days. You gotta be sharp, mate. If you're not sharp, you get done over. Come on, you know that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm born in the 70s. Yeah. In the 70s, man, you had to be switched on, mate.
You down the wrong road,
yeah,
mate.
You had to be switched on.
Getting chased. But just to go back to you, so I think. When we talk about, we sit here and talk about who's the best, etc., this era, this player, this position, etc. I think sometimes your name, you get left out of some of those discussions sometimes, and I don't think it's fair.
Do you think some people get amnesia and like forget about me?
I don't know. I definitely think you would say that, knowing you. But there must have been a point in your career where you went, "I'm the best." Like, was there a point in your career where you thought that?
I would say. Probably 98, first World Cup, I got into the world team at the World Cup. And then moving forward, I think 2002, Japan and Korea, and then the Euros, I got into the team as well in Portugal. I think between 2002 2004, I must be saying, pound for pound, you know, the best or one of the best in the world. You know, managers agree. Managers put me in the teams and things like that. You know, I think round about that time, I felt, this is, I've got to be, you know, one of the best or the best pound for pound for a couple of years.
Did you feel invincible? Like, did you feel like you looked at strikers and said, "Nah, not today, son"?
I felt in tune with everything. You know, I was thinking to myself, like, I'm just running like a beautiful, you know, classic car and just kind of loving every moment of it and just saying, you know what, anyone who comes against me, if it's a small, quick winger, if it's a small, quick forward, if it's a big, strong guy at centre forward or whatever, do you know what I mean? I was saying I could handle everything, you know. I just had a good experience of handling all sorts of players and playing top football and world football, European football, domestic football as well. You know, at the time I was a great team, you know, with Arsenal. So everything kind of came together, and I felt, I think sometimes maybe people have, you know, the memories are not there, and people want people in front of themselves, in front of the cameras all the time. So for them to remind, hey, this guy used to be good. You know, not everyone has that luxury to be in front of people week in, week out on
doing
TV. And PR, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's a little bit of PR going on now here, which is always quite nice. But I think the players who've played with me, they know. The ones who've played with me and have amnesia, it's a bit strange.
Amnesia.
It's strange, isn't it? Because you play, they see you, they know you on the pitch. They played against you for 20 years. They know what you are, and then forget about you.
Who is out there? Do you think, like, I want names, man? To
Yeah.
go like,
No, you know what you mean.
Give me a name or something. He knows me. Like, because I remember when I before I got to Man United, a few years before that, probably 98 up to 2002. Just 2001. I remember when I used to go to England, I remember like Butty, Nev and Phil Neville and that used to be going, "Come on, Sol, come on, sign for United." Do you remember them times?
Well, I got a call from Nevs, innit? But that was way. I got Nevs called when I was 21. Yeah. When I was at 21, he called.
What, saying you're going to come and sign?
Yeah, about 21, yeah.
Why is it always Gary Neville making the calls? Was that
he's trying to be some kind of diplomat or whatever.
Okay.
So why didn't you go?
I didn't
imagine you and
they didn't allow me to go.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be you and Yap
21.
would have been
Yeah,
a
it's
mad
at 21. I was
partnership.
21, yeah.
So you would have been
Yeah.
a United player?
At 21, yeah. But they didn't.
Yeah.
You would have to go. I know Sol would have gone then, bro.
He blocked it, didn't he, anyway?
Who's he?
Wow.
Sugar.
Oh.
Alan Sugar. Wow.
Okay.
Was the apprentice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
So what about going back to what Rio was saying? Players that you see, you go, you know the deal, you know the score.
I'm not going to go into that, but they know they're out there. They know they're out there.
I'm trying to think who.
But when you think about it, it's like, you know, if you're not in people's faces, people forget about you. Do you know what I mean? That's the thing. But the guys who have played with me or against me, you No. What? Why? Like, what is this nonsense going on here? You know, maybe that's the narrative they want to take, and it is what it is. But deep down, they'll know.
Do you feel the same thing?
But when you look at it, like, I'm one of the most consistent over 20 years. You know, obviously Tottenham, and then Arsenal, and then, you know, went to Portsmouth and won a FA Cup, captain. You know, and then got myself back to Arsenal. You know,
mad, really.
You know, went back to Arsenal. And then the last club was Newcastle, but
they were keeping you out of the England squad a little bit during that period as well.
You know what
I
happens
realised.
though?
Yeah.
You know what happens as
That
well?
was a funny period though.
Yeah,
6
that
years.
was. Now, how do you feel about that as well?
Because of Campbell, I think there was a misunderstanding. I think after I can't remember the last tournament. I think it was Germany, and I said, this is just not working. And I think, you know, where I was at that time, I think that's it. I'm not gonna look to see if I'm gonna play for England anymore. And then went to Portsmouth, started playing really well. You know, won the FA Cup, and then still just out cold. And then, you know, it just felt I'm playing really good football. And then the South African World Cup came up as well, got frozen out of that as well.
Did you speak to him, Capello?
No, I didn't want to speak. No, because I didn't play for 4 years or 6 years. And then remember, McCarron came in after that, and then he, for the first campaign, didn't bring me in, and then the second campaign was really, you know, going awry, and he brought me in for a few games. I played in Russia, I played at other places. I think, you know, we could have got through, and then we got the famous, you know, last game with Croatia, and that's how I got my few extra caps. So I missed like 6 years.
That's mad.
Are you trying to make? You said frozen out. What do you do in that stage? Do you say
just keep on playing football? You know, just mind my own business.
Do you ever
No,
say,
you know what? I spoke to, what his name? Is it who was he? What was his name? His assistant.
Bandini.
So I used to go to a coffee shop, and he used to be there, and we started talking and things like that, and I said, hey, you know, so you're playing really well and things like that. I will speak to Campbell. So it was Lower Stone Street, this coffee place. I used to see him all the time, but then he kind of brought two other players in when it came around. I think one was said in a book he never wanted to kind of play for England again, but he got in the side, and then another one. I think Leddy got in as well, but I don't think he was fully fit. So I kind of said to myself, you know, if I can't get in, It is what it is. I'm playing really good football. I'm enjoying football. I just had to accept it. You know, he just didn't want to pick me. I don't know the angle. I don't know. You had interesting run-ins with Capello over the time with captaincy and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just felt, you know, you're playing top football. You love England. I want to kind of, you know, even if I got in the squad, it'd be amazing. It's not like I wasn't playing. You know, I won the FA Cup, like, you know, playing for Portsmouth. And maybe in his eyes, Portsmouth is not, you know, a big club or whatever. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe that was the situation. Maybe I was at Arsenal. Maybe he might have picked me. I don't know. Who knows? Just to go back to a couple of names, yeah. I think I know who the names are. I think Alan Shearer. I don't know. When you get called the best player defenders he played against, does he mention you? Never. Is it? I don't think so. But that's what I mean. Like, so when you played against someone like Shearer, would you say he gives you problems, or is he one of those players that you go, actually? I think with Shearer, when I first started as a youngster, yeah. But I think there was a time when I got to about 21, then I started to really grow, and you know. You play against a top sort of forward like him, because don't get me wrong, he's one of the best forwards ever. But then when he plays against you and he knows that you're in the game with him, you know that, and week in, week out, over year after year after year, there's loads of forwards who can say that. I mean, every forward has their day. You know, you can't play well all the time, but I could say, you know, my heart, most of the time, I'm kind of, you know, I'm coming out on top. Yeah, but you do have games that the centre forward goes on top, and that's football. I think for me, there was a game when I got to Arsenal and I played at their place, and is when Bergkamp scored the amazing goal. Yeah. But I scored a second goal, but no one remembers that. No one remembers that. No one forget. So this, whatever. You know, everyone just forgets. Everyone just remembers the amazing goal by Dennis, which was spectacular as well. But I remember, you know, what he used to do sometimes. Shearer, like, he used to kind of tug your arm, so in a free kick wide or whatever, to kind of gain a little bit of advantage. But then, you know, at that time, I used to kind of flail, like, my arm would come out again to anticipate that and say, hey, I'm here. I'm not mucking around here. Like, we need to win. I remember once there was a header. It was in the 6-yard box and I had to win it. But then I felt the full force. I'm not sure if it was him, but someone really, really gave the whole kind of energy and like, you know when someone's giving you, like, I want to score as well. And I got the ball out. And that's what you know in the game. And I accept that. And if you're in that kind of battle and then people forget, like, mate, like, hello, I'm not saying Shearer's he's the only one who says that, you know, these guys have amnesia or whatever. But but I think just be fair, just understand that, you know, I'm not playing for 5 years. I've played for 20 years.
You know what? Sometimes I think it's the way you go out sometimes can impact that. Because, like, obviously at the end of your career, like everyone, most people, there's always something that happens that people go, like, I went QPR, and people go, if people just saw me at QPR, I am not on anyone's top 100 list, yeah? That's the way it is, yeah? And I accept that, but you just hope that what you've done before that can kind of go before that. But it's unfortunate. Sometimes that there might have been some at the end of your career that people just go, that tarnishes a little bit, which is, I don't think should happen. But when you look at defenders...
Sorry, Ray, have you seen the QPR memes recently?
No? Of me? No.
Every time there's a player going out, it's sad. They scroll.
Can you send them to me? Why are you sending them to me?
You know what, sometimes I just look I can't.
You got to send them, man. I like to see stuff like that. But you know, like, even like defenders, I think that, because you're on, I think I want to dig into this even more. When you look at defenders of your generation, and you go that they're getting the props, like, and you think to yourself, I know what you're like, Sol. I know you'll be sitting there and you'll be with your coffee, reading your paper, and your paper goes down on the table, and going, no, this is a joke. What's going on there? But let me go through some names, and I want to see if just give me a yes or no. Right?
Okay.
Are you better than right? Sol in his prime.
Prime Sol. That's what people don't see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Prime Sol versus
26, 26, 27
versus prime. Okay, versus prime
John Terry.
Okay.
Unbell.
Prime Sol versus prime Vidic.
Unbell.
Prime Sol versus prime Tony Adams.
In what way?
Whatever.
In every single way.
As a defender.
As a defender, if I'm in the mood and everything's good, I'm better.
Virgil van Dijk.
What is good? Also, some of those players, you got to look at, say, they're at a different time. As Virgil coming against people like Mark Owen, Rooney, Duncan Ferguson, Dropper, Thierry.
Just one thing. I love Virgil. He's the best of just this generation, head and shoulders above everybody. But he ain't playing against the depth of players,
Well, he had to play against.
And two of them.
Two of them, yeah.
Two of them. He's played against one.
Kevin Campbell. All these players. Andy Cole.
Dwight.
Les Ferdinand.
Teddy.
Ooh.
Robbie
Fowler. You know, we had to deal with lots of different players.
Some mad names on there.
When you look at it, you know, it's like you had to change your game.
No, the attackers now versus the ones in our generation is
different.
Big difference, I think. In number nines. Like you got Haaland. I think he plays in every generation. He'll be one of the top players.
Yeah. But the difference is obviously he's an incredible goal scorer, but his all-round gameplay, do you reckon that has an effect as well with how you look?
No, but all of those guys weren't perfect in every area. They had certain elements of their game where you go, they are elite in that. Like Dion Dublin in the air was a joke. But Haaland, if you give him a chance at a goal, he scores. Just before we go on to that. And
you got Van Nistelrooy there as well.
Van Nistelrooy. Wait. You don't even like him.
Well, hit the bar.
Yeah. Van Dijk.
I think for me, you got to balance it out. You know,
Are you better than him or not, Sol? In prime?
I think no. In prime, if in prime, I'm better in some aspects, and he's probably better than me in other aspects. You know,
Rio.
What, in prime?
Prime Rio.
Who knows? Depends what game.
No, I know. Sol would say he's better in his head, but he's being diplomatic.
Yeah.
I would say I was better.
You don't need to be diplomatic.
I would say I was better.
I think the certain games that's what it's all about.
Could Virgil live in our era?
Yeah. You know, that is different.
I hear you.
Different players.
Different players. Could we live in his era?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You could adapt.
Defensively, but they're asked to do so much more with the ball that some of our players we're talking about couldn't do with that.
Yeah, but you were playing with the ball, Rio. You were.
No, I'm not saying me. I'm saying in general.
I think it's playing with the ball now, but most of the players now are brought up in that way. So you would learn. You practice every day and you're adaptable with your top player. You would adapt. Some would be better than others, but you'd be able to adapt. That's normal.
How would you deal with, like, we talked about Haaland. We talked about he's one of the players I think would live in any generation as a goal scorer. And I think people talk about this, he can't do this, can't do that. It's not about what you can't do. If he puts the ball in the back of the net, it doesn't matter what else he does that. Right,
I think you missed out some defenders as well.
Go on, who else?
Who else? Come on, you've got some defenders who played my time.
But I'm trying to think top defenders that we remember. I'm not saying that. Because then you've got
Newcastle, was there Liverpool players?
But then you've got who was good
there
for Liverpool?
there?
Sammy Hippier. Like, I'm
Who
sorry,
else?
but that's not really.
I'm putting people who are going to be.
Carragher? What about Carragher?
No. Jamie can't get in a conversation. He's not allowed to be in that. Why are you winking? Jamie caught it straight. He's not even in the conversation. He just caught it straight like that.
I'm saying I'm letting everybody know that there is other defenders out there.
Here's one for you.
Yeah.
Wait. Marcel Desailly.
You know what Patrick said? It was a split in hair. He said, like, he doesn't know.
Did you ask Patrick?
Patrick Vieira.
Wait, did you ask Patrick and go?
Patrick came up to me and said, you know what? There's two, because sometimes in the L'Equipe they had these kind of they're very on it, L'Equipe. They're a bit more kind of accurate than they're not getting kind of.
Is it a magazine? For those.
L'Equipe paper.
Yeah.
And there was once where Mr. Desailly and me, and Patrick was saying, because obviously Patrick played with both. He's played with Desailly and me. He said, even he couldn't decide.
Is it?
Yeah, Patrick, yeah.
Desailly was a monster.
He's top player. And a really nice man as well.
Yeah. Top guy.
Really nice
I'm not going to lie.
Top guy.
Prime Desailly.
Yeah, quality. Woo! Yeah, quality.
That's a big one.
How would you deal with Haaland today?
I think you have to have the size. And we've got that. And you have to have the pace. We've got that. But also you have to have the personality. That you're not gonna bully me. You're not gonna get in front. You're not gonna dictate. And also you gotta make sure the guys on the wings are shutting down those crosses, because obviously survives on those crosses, and then you can deal with the ball down, slip down the kind of sides, because that's what he wants. He wants that ball in that side, and then once he gets into the lane, there's some players once they get in that lane, it's really hard to get them off that lane. So you've got to always outpace them to go back in front of them to kind of slow them down. Because if it's side by side on the left side, it's going to be the timing of the tackle is going to be spot on. So you've got to make sure he doesn't get into his lane.
I think with Haaland, it's all like you say. Sol said we would have not had the issue worrying about size and speed. That would have been okay. We would have gone toe to toe with him in that sense. It's anticipating areas that he wants to be in and being there first, which he's saying as well. But my biggest concern would have been other areas of the pitch, because once they get wide and they then create overloads in the wide areas and then can get their head up to pass the ball, he's now in an advantage position to you, because he's looking at his players and he just has to make a movement that those players are heads up and they'll find him.
Yeah.
So if he makes a movement and here he's going, well, the ball should be on its way because I'm going to be here, where we've got to watch the man on the ball and his movement. Now he's the advantage. He's winning. So then it becomes. So then it comes down to communication. Don't let them wide guys, the wide guys, get their head up. Our fullbacks and our wide players need to make sure they're not outnumbered, so that he don't get into that situation where then in the box he's in an advantage position. As long as I can keep him out of there, I'm
also that's when, like, if he's on the opposite side, you have to make sure either your right back or left back is making sure he's kind of on the winger or whatever. But then you make sure your right back or left back is in there, because you can't do every single move. You can maybe, if he fakes to go and you go forward to in that space to block it, then he peels back. That's when you need your right back or your left back making sure he's there. So if it does, get chipped up and it's in between, you've got that little few kind of seconds to kind of see the ball come in. You're in a better position than me, and you can help me out.
Surely
things like that. That's when you need the help.
Surely you
because if there's no right back and he does the run and it's a good ball,
you're dead.
You can't mark everything.
I would argue that in our generation, he'd actually get a chance to score more goals.
Really, with Ashley Cole defending?
No, because he's got another strike partner. So there's two strikers, number 9s almost, or 9 and a 10, who then one of them's with me and one of them's with Sol. So it's 1v1 the whole time. And then you're hoping that your fullback's tucked in, but then if their wingers coming in as well, it's 3v3 in the box. Whereas now, you've got two centre-halves who are marking a number 9 and then looking after maybe someone that comes in late, but you've got a defensive midfielder that can do that job as well. Your fullbacks can get in, wingbacks can get... So a lot of the time you're actually outnumbering the opponents, but it's like, you used to be like 1v1 in there. And if he's 1v1 with someone, he's going to get so many more chances.
If Haaland could score more goals than he's scoring now, then God
I don't know if he scored more, but I think he'd get as many, if not more, opportunities because it's two of them up there against us. If he's 1v1 against most defenders, he's physically dominating most defenders.
We've got to focus on your team, Rio, sitting pretty in 13th place.
We've got Sol Campbell there. We don't have to do that.
We've got time. Manchester United losing 3-1 to Brighton at Old Trafford. What did you see? What needs to be improved immediately?
I think what it done is it give everybody a little bit more of a reality check again, because obviously the two results against Arsenal and Liverpool were 2 draws, by the way. They weren't wins, but it felt like wins if you looked at the reaction in the media and the fan base. Because they've been starved of any success for a long time, so they were clinging on to things. But it was papering over cracks. The Southampton game, more than anything, papered over cracks. If it wasn't for Ahmad producing a crazy hat-trick out of nowhere, we lose that game as well. But we won that again, papered over the cracks. And then Brighton, who have been a team that have kind of always give us reality checks, it seems. They do well against us. And they weren't even at their best, by the way. It wasn't like Brighton came here and was like, oh, wow, this is Brighton at their best. They've done us at Old Trafford. 1-1, probably fairish result at half-time. And then all of a sudden, United just didn't react to second half. And that was one of the worrying things. It was just like they conceded again in the second half, and you go, right, what they've been good at recently, United, is they've actually reacted in situations when they've needed to, and it wasn't there in this game. And the manager's press conference, we were speaking outside, when the manager came out and said, like, it's the worst team in Man United's history, I don't know what type of reaction he's going to get from the change room there. That's the only worry, unless he's had a conversation prior to that with the players and said, listen, guys, I'm going to go out there. What you might hear when I come back in, don't let that distort what we've spoken about in here. It's not having any effect on here. I've just got to give them a line.
But he also said, fair play to him, he also said, yes, you have a manager who's lost more than the previous manager as well. So he's kind of like thrown himself in there as well a little bit. So it's not like he's just said, you guys are rubbish and that's it.
No, yeah. But at the same time, I think he's just letting people know that this team he's taken over are a bad bunch of players.
I think, I don't know, the quickest way to lose players is coming out with those comments. And you're right, if he must have said something in the change rooms, because usually you want a manager saying that in the changing rooms and you feel, do you know what, I can take that. And you build that relationship. Saying that in the press it's so easy to say it in the press, and I think everybody in the press people want to know that you're unhappy and this and that, and I get that. But sometimes, I mean, there'll be players in United who are trying their best, and they're good guys and they're working hard. And I'm not saying everyone. You're always going to have a couple of bad bunches in any side, in any situation. But you could easily lose players when you kind of say those kind of things. You want to, at least find out who is who, really? Do you actually think he knows who's who? So some people can say whatever to him and say, oh, this player's like this and this player's like that. But you see what relationship you have. I think that's the main thing, really.
You knew when a player walked into that change room, you knew within the first couple of weeks what you got. I think I was quite quick at working out he ain't going to be good for us.
But you said you got it wrong. You got it wrong with Vidic. You got it wrong with Evra.
No. In terms of like as the right people. Okay. I never doubted that Patrice or Vida were like bad people, or not good enough people, or weren't determined individuals. Yeah. Because I saw that immediately. It weren't going well for them, but they never down tools. They still grafted. So whether they're good enough ability-wise, but these moments, I think you need good, strong, solid people. Your best teams, you knew you could look to your right or left and go, that's a man. Mm-hmm. And if I need him to produce what he's good at in the right moments, he's going to be there and he's going to apply himself all through the week to make sure that he does that.
But do you think that's gone now? Like, generally?
I don't know. If you look at Liverpool...
It pops up every now. Yeah, it pops up every now and again and things like that. And that's how good teams start rolling and get the momentum and start winning year after year after year.
I think it's gone from United.
Well, look at Nottingham Forest. I went and watched them the other day at the City Ground against Liverpool, mate. And, mate, Elanga was on his knees at some point. Hudson-Odoi on his knees.
Yeah.
All the midfielders they've got, Anderson, the midfielders they got there, you're going like they're just running.
Yeah, Morello at the back as well.
Yeah, Morello at the back.
Yeah.
They're running. Everything they've got in their system is out on that pitch. Mm-hmm. Like, and football fans will accept like a lower level of ability. He ain't good enough, really, but he grasps me. Yeah. They'll take that, and the best players have both.
Amorim mentioned something similar, Rio. Sorry to cut you. He was talking about how, yes, you might lose some, but it's the way you lose some. And he said one thing, he's not going to change. Do you think holding on to these principles is going to get him the sack eventually?
They brought him in for his principles. They brought him in for the way he coaches. They brought him in for his style. They brought him in for all of those things and more, obviously. So to expect him to come in just because of the players that he's got, who actually haven't produced for the previous manager, by the way. So is he going to soften his approach and change his approach for the players that got the last manager to sack as well?
Well, mate, but you're in.
Do you think he needs 2 seasons?
Yeah, you need time. I just think he needs to get to this next window, get busy, get some out through this window, get some out in the next window, because the players. Listen.
Do you think they have to cut deals to get people out the door?
Yeah, because the players are on massive money. They might have to loan 4 or 5 of the players because they can't sell them, because other clubs ain't going to be able to pay them 250, 200 grand a week, because they don't warrant that right now. So I just think that when you look at him, you can't ask. I don't think you can bring a manager in for what he's been good at and why you've highlighted him, and then go after a couple of months. You should change to adapt to these players who weren't actually good enough for the previous manager. Mm-hmm. Don't make sense.
Yeah,
get the rubbish out and give him a couple of windows to do that and bring in and recruit the right players.
Do you think the sporting director is going to be important for that, though?
Yeah, hugely. Yeah. Recruitment has been, I think, the Achilles heel of Man United for the last 10, 15, whatever years. We've recruited poorly. I've said this many times, and I'll say it again now. Actually, Ahmad can add to this now. Ahmad and Bruno, if anybody's been there for 2 years and above, are probably the only players that have actually improved. Right, or playing to the level that they can play to. I might have missed one or two, I'm not sure, but I ain't missed 3 or 4, 5, 6.
When you say if you want to say improved, you can put Dalot in that conversation a little bit.
Dallow's improved, but like improved. Not to the level that I'm saying. Like Bruno has done numbers for a midfield in terms of like chances created, goals scored, assists. Yeah. In the time he's been here, no player in the midfielder in the Premier League has done the numbers he's done. Right, so he's played at a level that is higher or what we expected. Ahmad is like, we came in as a wonder kid. We're seeing that now, right? Yeah. Everybody else is playing sub or below the expectation levels that we anticipated for them.
Do you think like United is just on a cycle that they need to complete this cycle? Because every club, generation cycles. Look at Liverpool. For a long time.
But
it does happen.
It does happen. But the difference is, especially with the way the infrastructure is with football, club cycles are usually shorter. Besides Italy, there's been a massive mess there because the big clubs have been able to shape themselves well since the 90s. So that's why you've got Real Madrid might suffer for a season, or Barcelona could have financial situations, but you can still see some winning success. Bayern Munich, all these clubs, they've been able to sustain their mega club status. It's actually worrying for me when I see Man United and I go, man, what is going on there? Like, not all the managers can be bad.
But I think Sol's right.
Or is it too much money? I don't know. Who knows? What he does, I've seen some people in the media saying, the manager needs to change or he actually might have to get rid of him. Like, what are you talking about? He needs time. And if you want him to change, then he weren't the right person. You've brought him for a reason, the way he coaches, the way his teams play, etc. You've seen something there, let him apply that. And you can't expect that. Not everyone can apply their methods immediately. Some things take time, man.
Yeah. You've got, first of all, Onana's mistake. I got to bring it up. I don't know how you guys got rid of David De Gea, or maybe I've got short-term memory because I do remember it being a bit of amnesia.
But why did they get rid of him? I don't know.
It's because for me, like, I do banter and I call him biscuit wrists and stuff like that, Onana, because that kind of stuff is horrible.
Imagine being a player and you're hearing that.
I know.
No, well,
biscuit risk, you know.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, you can't.
Is that something like? What do you mean, like letters? Like back in the days.
Yeah. Poppadom risk.
Because the reality is, when you see a ball come in there, that's a big error. You guys
I think he's a top keeper. I think it's confidence.
You say really is. Top keeper.
I didn't say
You just said top keeper.
Yeah.
He's not a top keeper.
Not many keepers win the goal like the best goalkeeper in Europe.
Doesn't matter. Some people have good seasons. We've had Michael Ricketts have good seasons. We've seen Kevin Phillips have good seasons. It doesn't mean
Ricketts is catching strays
like
that.
No, I like Michael Ricketts.
Phillips is a bad player, you know.
Bad player. I'm not saying he's rubbish, but
Kevin
we're
Phillips
talking top.
No.
Listen.
He's got a lot of goals.
You're just dismissing like big goal scorers.
He had the big season where he scored 30 goals in the Prem.
A few seasons he was banging.
No, but I'm talking about when he was.
He had one mad one, but he was still consistent.
And I rate him, by the way. I'm not saying, but you're talking about Onana here. You just said top goalkeeper. I'm sorry. I don't see him as being top. Good. Okay, I'll accept that. Really good shot stopper. But when I compare to David De Gea, when I compare to...
So what kind of goalkeeper is he? He's not a top goalkeeper. What is he? Just good?
You tell me.
Just good?
You tell me. Not good recently.
I think he's had a couple of moments that you wouldn't want to see on your clips, I think. But I think you look at the last game, he probably enabled us to win that game. People forget that. Ahmad got the hat-trick, but he actually made 2 unreal saves before that to actually keep us in the game. But goalkeepers live and die by big glaring mistakes. I think that's true. So he needs to cut them mistakes out if he wants to continue.
Really good guy, by the way. This is not a personal thing. I'm just talking about, and we have to be honest. I know it's difficult for you pros that have played, and you go, could someone say biscuit wrist? That's what I see. You know what I mean? But as a person, I'm sure he's a great guy. You've got Anthony, Rashford, Malacia. They're all going this month.
Yeah.
They're definitely going.
I think Anthony's going. I think someone said to me Real Betis or something like that. I think get them out, man. Sorry, no, I'm just being honest. Like the more them type of guys are around, where there's just a bad noise, they all want to go. They're all happy to go. Let's just get them out. Let's start afresh. Give the manager, because it's like if there's people that are unsettled and they're in there and it's not going to plan and they're not happy.
Well, they spread it.
It's like a cancerous kind of bad energy, and it moves around.
Not spread. It's like, I think if you're in there and someone is not playing or just about to go, and you got training, you got the locker room, all that kind of stuff. The conversation's going on. You just
morbid,
don't need it. You don't need it.
They're trudging out like this, not really on it.
You want to have it.
And everyone's looking over and going like, especially when you're not doing well. It'd have been all right at Arsenal when they were flying. It'd been all right at United when we were flying, because them guys just get left.
Man.
Also, what about one of your mates, Postecoglou? Do you think he goes?
He ain't my mate, and to be honest with you, yeah, he's gonna go soon. Yeah, man.
Another one who's stuck to his principles.
Exactly, Rio.
Isn't it? He's stuck there.
I don't know about all of that, man. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Should we finish on that note? You don't want no more beef. Not with Spurs.
I want to chill. I just having a nice conversation with you guys, man. It's a nice conversation. It's all good.
No, we don't want to do that.
We don't finish on a bad note,
But listen, thank you very much. I want to ask you about your Ange Postecoglou thoughts after this podcast. But you're watching Rio Presents. Rio, always a pleasure, especially when your team's performing like this. And please make sure you check out all the other interviews on the channel. Where's the Yaya Toure interview?
It's coming. Don't worry.
No, you get every week.
No, it's coming. I know it was in demand, didn't it? We just got people that want a bit more. It's like Souls.
It's true. No, we've been waiting. Yeah, we've had Sol. We've had Coman. We've had Lewandowski. We've had who else? Have we had Van Dijk, Beckham.
Yeah, we've got another one coming soon. You'll be happy with this one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just leave it there.
Okay. Please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And audio listeners, please make sure you share it with your friends, man. Joel Bayer, Rio Ferdinand, the great Mr. Sol Campbell, signing out. Peace.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode of Rio Presents. Hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be here every Monday throughout the season, so tell your mates and all get involved, man. If you've got a point you think we should be discussing or want to put us on the spot with a question you want answering, get in touch using the fans first at rioferdinandpresents.com email address or use #RFP on social. Make sure you leave us a review and follow this Rio Ferdinand Presents feed, and you'll never miss an episode. See ya on the next one.